Today is March 26. Today, the harvest is bountiful. Let's read from the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 35 to 38. Then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Now, in the Old Testament, the harvest actually refers to two things. Part of the understanding in the Old Testament of the harvest is this is God's provision. In fact, there's an entire festival dedicated to the harvest. That's the festival of Shavuot. It's also called Pentecost by the time we get to the New Testament. Israel would come together and thank God for the harvest at the beginning of the harvest season. But then when we come to the prophets, the harvest tends to be a prophecy of doom for Israel's enemies. Let's look at one of those passages, Hosea 6, 4 to 7, 12. Stick around later, we'll talk about it.
Hosea 6, verse 4 to 11, and Hosea 7, verse 1 through 12, New Revised Standard Version. What shall I do with you, O Ephraim? What shall I do with you, O Judah? Your love is like a morning cloud, like the dew that goes away early. Therefore I have hewn them by the prophets. I have killed them by the words of my mouth, and my judgment goes forth as the light. For I desire steadfast love and not sacrifice, the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings. But by Adam they transgressed the covenant. There they dealt falsely with me. Gilead is a city of evildoers, tracked with blood. As robbers lie in wait for someone, so the priests are banded together. They murder on the road to Shechem. They commit monstrous crimes. In the house of Israel I have seen a horrible thing. Ephraim's prostitution is there. Israel is defiled. For you also, O Judah, a harvest is appointed. When I would restore the fortunes of my people, when would I heal Israel? The corruption of Ephraim is revealed, and the wicked deeds of Samaria, for they deal falsely. The thief breaks in, and the bandits raid outside, but they do not consider that I remember all their wickedness. Now their deeds surround them, they are before my face. By their wickedness they make the king glad, and the officials by their treachery. They are all adulterers. They are like a heated oven whose baker does not need to stir the fire from the kneading of the dough until it is leavened. On the day of our king, the officials became sick with the heat of wine. He stretched out his arm with mockers, for they are kindled like an oven. Their heat burns within them. All night their anger smolders. In the morning it blazes like a flaming fire. All of them are as hot as an oven, and they devour their rulers. All their kings have fallen. None of them calls upon me. Ephraim mixes himself with peoples. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Foreigners devour his strength, but he does not know it. Gray hairs are sprinkled upon him, but he does not know it. Israel's pride testifies against him, yet they do not return to the Lord their God, or seek him for all this. Ephraim has become like a dove, silly without sense. They call upon Egypt, they go to Assyria. As they go, I will cast my net over them. I will bring them down like birds of the air. I will discipline them according to the report made to the assembly.
So we see here at the beginning of Hosea a prophecy for Israel of a harvest. There, Israel's harvest, what Hosea refers to as the Lord gathering, is Israel's conquest and its captivity. But in the middle, there's just a short passage about Judah. The harvest for Judah is actually her return from captivity. Hosea goes on to speak again about Israel and the impending doom that will come as her enemies takes her into exile. This image is actually carried over into Jesus's parables. Matthew 13:24-30. We'll read that passage in a few months. But for now, it's enough to know that there he says that the Lord will harvest. And when he harvests, after the harvest, he separates the wheat from the weeds. The harvest includes both the good and the bad. In the book of Revelation chapters 14, from 14 to 20, the harvest that's carried out there is God's judgment against his enemies in the book of Revelation. What Jesus says, we actually participate in the harvest. What we do as laborers is we harvest the seeds that's been planted. So what do we do about this today? Well, Jesus tells us what to do in this passage. The harvest is bountiful. The problem is not that there is no harvest. The problem is that there's not enough laborers. Pray for laborers today. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. If you like what you heard today, subscribe.